Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I want to discuss the possibility of gold cards being more popular in the future and perhaps even overtaking things like SIRs. Now, in the Scarlet and Violet era, gold cards really not super valuable considering how hard they are to pull. I believe they're harder than SIRs to pull. As you can see, this Pikachu EX, the gold one, is only 50 bucks though in comparison to the SIR version. And that's typically what you're going to see for most gold cars. They're just not going to be that much more valuable. Um, and even in like Journey Together, where I think some of the gold cards actually look better than previous eras, with the trainer in the background, they're still not that expensive, right? Like regular illustration rares will oftentimes kind of outperform gold cards. Um, Interestingly, though, it looks like the full art versions don't do too bad, actually. Like, this full art Lily's Clefairies is not horrible. $7, I didn't know that. I have a lot of those, I'm not gonna lie. Um, Same with Destined Rivals, obviously. I mean, these ones are a little bit more expensive, like the Team Rocket's Mewtwo. It's actually pretty damn high, like $65. You'll see these Garchomps at 44. Obviously, the lower you go, the worse the prices get, but typically gold cards, they're just not really that sought after because they're just kind of like 3D graphics most of the time of the Pokemon, just kind of in a weird pose. Oftentimes they look exactly like the full art version, but gold, and no one really necessarily cares about the rarity, but what the art looks like, right? It's about the card itself. Obviously, the rarity plays into the price, but it's not going to necessarily affect demand in the same way. Demand needs to still be natural, right? The card still needs to be like interesting to most people for them to want to actually have it. And most people just simply don't care about gold cards. However, I feel like with the black and white sets that just came out recently, I think Pokemon kind of realized that they can do more than just slapping a 3D graphic and some gold borders, right? The black Zekrom and white Reshiram, and then obviously the red Victini card are great examples of this. These are the top chases for these sets because they're so unique in terms of what the color palette looks like. They're not just gold cards, but they're instead full black, almost have like a carbon fiber kind of look, or full red or full white. And I've seen these cards in person. They look very, very cool. Remind me of the silver Dialga from Phantom Forces, I think, is the set from XY. And these are actually more expensive than their SIR counterparts. Now, personally, I think I would actually prefer the SIR, but I think these are so unique and they're really hard to pull, which makes them pretty interesting. And now, recently, we can actually see this in Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia. The gold cards are actually the top chases of these sets. Typically the gold cards would not really even be close to the top chase. They would be maybe like down here in the $50 range. Especially for Japanese, they'd probably be even lower. But instead, they seem to be the top chase for these sets. And I'm kind of interested to see if this carries over to the English version as well. You can see the SIRs. It looks like the Gardevoir is probably going to be the top chase out of the Mega Evolution base set. And obviously that makes sense. It's a beautiful SIR. It looks really, really good. But I'm kind of curious to see if the same kind of pattern will apply to the gold cards. Are they going to hold up a pretty high price in the English version? And, I could definitely see that happening because the gold cards here definitely have gotten a big upgrade, right? You can see just from the card itself, there's like a lot more going on. It's not just a simple 3D rendered graphic of Mega Lucario. There actually is some kind of posing going on. He has like some kind of actual 2D art going on there. Same with Mega Gardevoir. It seems to be in like this kind of interesting style with like a circular background, and like the Mega in the middle. It almost looks like in the video games when they're Mega evolving and like it breaks from the shell. It kind of looks like that in my head. And I'm wondering if for Inferno X, also known as Phantasmal Flames in English, will these golden cards, kind of be present in those sets? And are they actually going to end up being the top chases? If so, that could make this Mega Evolution, era even more popular and increase the set value by even more than it already has. And if that's the case, I could actually see the Mega era being one of the best eras to invest in and to buy into. Um, just because, not only do you have SIRs, but you have gold cards that are legitimately valuable that people legitimately want. Just looking at the set value for Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, it looks like it's around $2,000 combined, right? Around 1,000 Mega Symphonia and around 1,000 Mega Brave, which makes sense. Now, obviously, not all of this is going to carry over. Things like the Acerolas, Mischief, and the Lily's Determination are not going to be nearly as popular in English. Japanese people tend to love, trainer cards a lot more, especially Lily for some reason, and Acerola. uh, but the fact I think the SARs are actually going to be more expensive in English probably. That's usually how it tends to go. Interestingly though, I'm seeing the full arts also are pretty highly valued here, which is kind of cool to see. Like the Mega Gardevoir, Mega Latias, Mega Lucario, and Venusaur also high up there. I actually pulled this Bulbasaur from Mega Brave box. Really excited to see that. It's a really fun card. And overall, I think these sets are going to be pretty amazing. Oh, that's a cool Steelix card. I haven't even seen the full set, to be honest, yet. Um, and, I mean, clearly the first base set of this is going to be really, really solid. I think we all kind of already knew that going into it, but I'm really excited to see how Inferno X kind of tackles all these new different rarities that they've also announced, right? With those, like, kind of graphic arts. As you can see, they've added this kind of, like, new kind of graphic art style. I'm wondering, are these going to be? So I'm assuming this one's going to be in Phantasmal Flames. I think these ones are probably going to come in the base Mega Evolution set, which, by the way, I absolutely love that they're bringing back the Japanese text. I do think these look pretty cool. I almost wish these replaced like the full art version. I'm not a huge fan of these kind of like ones where the base Pokemon is just standing in the background, but it's okay. I mean, I'm not like too miffed about it or anything. But I think these are really sick alternatives to that. And they're a completely different style, which is nice too. And so adding these rarities in, plus gold cards, plus SIRs, plus full arts, plus illustration rares, I mean, and they're adding what item full arts now? I think you can get like mega, full art. I think I saw a Night Stretcher full art, um, in this set as well, and it's absolutely insane that Pokemon is adding so many different types of rarities for so many different types of collectors. Right? I think it's gonna make these mega sets, really really stand out in terms just of the variety of hits you could actually pull, and at the same time, it's gonna make ripping open these packs a lot more fun than previous eras like Sword and Shield, and maybe even Scarlet and Violet, because I feel like in Scarlet and Violet, you're either hunting for an illustration rare or you're hunting for an SIR, right? And especially if you're hunting for a specific illustration rare, that's a lot harder. But with Mega, if you're hunting for a full art, these new rarities, I forgot what they're called, the gold cards, the SIRs, the illustration rares, like, I feel like there's so many different things you could be pulling, and it's going to make ripping these packs so much more fun and more enticing, especially for rip and trippers. So guys, I would be fully prepared to see Mega Evolution be one of the most popular eras in recent Pokemon, which is kind of crazy to say since we just got off the back burner of Scarlet and Violet. And we can kind of already see this reflected in the prices of the ETBs on presale. Now, obviously, guys, do not buy anything on presale. The prices always come down after release. Like, this has been proven time and time again. But over $100 for presale for a base set is pretty damn good. It looks like the Lucario one is a bit more popular than the Gardevoir one. I'm guessing because the promo inside is the Riolu versus the Alakazam. I think Riolu is probably just a more popular Pokemon, and the art style just looks better. Yeah, these are pretty strong pre-sale pricing so far. Obviously, again, expect to see them to drop further and further. Looking at the enhanced booster boxes, though, these actually had a bit of a price jump up to like $300 and then back down to $284. Thankfully, I was actually able to snag one enhanced booster box from the Pokemon Center website during that mega drop alongside, both the PC ETBs. Thankfully, did not get the booster bundle; those were sold out. But let me know down in the comments below. Did you guys catch that PC drop? Were you able to get any Mega Evolution stuff? And then it looks like the non-enhanced booster box, which, by the way, kind of looks better than the regular or the enhanced booster box. I kind of wish the regular one I wish the designs were kind of flipped around, like make the enhanced one actually look more interesting, or at the very least, not just a black, front. I wish you could have gotten a cool like Lucario style there, but it is what it is. And just like Journey Together, it seems like the non-enhanced are more expensive due to just scarcity in price. I don't know how much longer this trend is going to continue for Journey Together as well, in terms of the non-enhanced being more expensive. I have to imagine that in the future, the enhanced versions are going to be more sought after simply due to the fact that they contain a promo and the promo has inherent value in it. But, obviously it depends on the printing runs and, sealed collectors are weird in that way that scarcity is the most important thing in that sense, right? In terms of collectability for a sealed product, especially if you're, collecting them just for the sealed display itself. So I could definitely see the non-enhanced being more expensive, especially since the design looks better. Um, but it is what it is. I'd probably be buying one of both on release if possible. Not sure what the allocations are going to be there, but we'll see. And the booster bundles are looking at around $60. Probably will go down to like 40-ish, I would imagine, probably on like the same tier as Destined Rivals in my head. Because this does seem to be a pretty popular, set that's going to come out soon. And once Legends ZA comes out, I do imagine we're going to see, a lot more hype for the Mega Evolution era. But I would be careful to kind of understand which Mega Evolution sets to buy into en masse. I can imagine because they're introducing so many new Mega Pokemon in Legends ZA, they're going to have some sets that are just dedicated purely to new Megas. We just got a new Mega Malamar, I think, released or announced, alongside like Victory Bell and Halucha, right? And so if they make an entire set of just Kalos, right, Mega Evolutions, let's say, for example, then that set is probably not going to be as popular, perhaps, in comparison to a set like the Storm Emerald one or Phantasmal Flames, right, that contain like Mega Rayquaza or Mega Charizard. So I think just like Scarlet and Violet, there are going to be some sets that are just not seen as more favorably, but just like Scarlet and Violet, there are going to be some sets that perform absolutely amazingly. Now, will we get anything on the same level as like 151 or Prismatic Evolutions? That I don't know. I don't think Mega Evolution is super nostalgic for a lot of people just because X and Y is kind of a more recent game in terms of Pokemon's entire history, right? And so people with the most amount of money are obviously going to be Gen 1ers, people who love 151, for example. But I do think there's still going to be great, opportunities for Mega Evolution era in general. And I'm really excited to see the prospect of these gold cards actually have, and actually hold some kind of value into the future. I'd be curious to see if that really plays out in that way, or if the SIRs are going to continue to be the top chase in each set. And I mean, this is absolutely insane in terms of total set value for a Japanese set, right? I mean, if you compare this to something like Black Bolt and White Flare, it's actually pretty similar now that I look at it. Although I will say Black Bolt and White Flare has a lot more illustration rares. And obviously SIRs and everything in comparison. So that's kind of crazy to me that they have similar values despite being so much more depth in Black Bolt and White Flare. So I think this spells I think this spells a really good future for the Mega Evolution era in general. Now, could Pokemon really turn on the printers for these and just print the hell out of them? Yes, for sure. I could definitely see that happening. But we'll kind of just have to wait to see. And if that does happen, guys, that's called a buying opportunity. Okay, do not be scared when Pokemon turns on the printing facilities. And if these boxes get down to like, $100, God, that will be amazing. I would love to see us return to that kind of market, because I remember buying boxes for like $600 a case for things like Paradox Rift, Stellar Crown, you know, Temporal Forces. Those were the good old days. And if we can get those back through Mega Evolutions, that would be amazing. And I think the sets look absolutely spectacular. Although I really do heavily doubt we're going to go back to those days, because, yeah, they just keep innovating. They add new rarities. The new rarities are really, really good. And we'll see where it all goes from here. But I would not count on Mega Evolutions being a bad era at all. And I think we're going to see some really amazing growth from these sets. What do you guys think about Mega Evolutions? Do you think the gold cards are going to carry a lot of value or not? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later.